All right, welcome everybody. And for those of you that are missing this call, make sure you shoot me an email. Let me know you've listened to it. I know a couple of you folks are working tonight. Thanks for being here live, asking questions. This is our last virtual session. Obviously the scrimmages will start in another week and a half. So you have a little opportunity to, catch up on some of the work. There's a lot of things in the curriculum. Let me share my screen here, show you what we're talking about. Okay, so everything that's in this curriculum, hopefully you have taken advantage of, especially the videos around mechanics, offside. There's a bunch of NFH Learn. That's tons of videos, so you can take your time and go through those. So hopefully you've at least looked at everything, whether you were able to consume it all. I do want to point out that if you're having any issues, excuse me, I got something caught my throat here. Hold on one second. Okay. If you're stuck getting in ZebraWeb, is anyone on the call stuck not in ZebraWeb? All good? Okay. If you're listening to this and you're not in ZebraWeb, you're not going to get any assignments. Don't worry about your concussion certificates. Joe has them. That's the last thing he'll update. And make sure you have your, you've submitted your test online at the njsiaa.org site. And the other thing is, as I mentioned to everyone before, we're here at the very tail end of things, and there is a August 20th meeting, and Joe Rossi will send out an email with a Zoom link. You have to attend an interpretation meeting. It's the rules of the state. You have to attend one. They typically are not that long. Just depends on how many rule changes are, which we know what they are already. And it's run by Rich Papperman, our rules interpreter. There are two of them, so you can attend either one, but you have to log in and make sure on your Zoom thing it has your name, or they're going to ask you who you are. If it says like mom's iPhone or something, you got to make sure your name's on there. And then, of course, the season's starting. It's actually the 28th, I believe it starts 28th, I believe. And so I'm working some scrimmages. I'm only working one scrimmage date, which is the 28th, because I'm traveling that week. But there's a lot of our mentors are working. I'm working at Mainland in the morning of the 28th, which is a Monday. Monday is just check me on that. It's the 28th. I think it's 28th, right? Monday at 9 a.m. we have a scrimmage at Mainland. If you're welcome to come up if you happen to be off of work or like to take off a couple hours and come up. I'll slot you in. You can run a little bit. But I think a couple folks have already been assigned to that game. Is anyone on this call assigned to that 9 a.m. game on Monday, the 28th?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, me and Mike are.
Me and Jim.
Okay, good. So, but we can take more. I'll take anyone that wants to come up, and you guys will all kind of filter in and just get a good look. Good time to ask questions, and usually they'll play, like a little extra, because they'll play a little JV as well, I would think. But you never know till you get there. You never know what they're doing. So if anyone wants to come to that, but you should be getting some scrimmages that week. If you don't get a scrimmage, you need to let me know. Also, Joe Harrison is our assigner. You need to let him know as well, because he might not know. If you're blocked out in the morning, and a lot of them play 11 o'clock that day because they play in the morning because of the heat. So you just need to make yourself available. And if you can only be in the afternoon, I think a couple of schools do play in the afternoon. But my point to you is you have to do today we're doing the on-field mechanics stuff. Got to attend an interpretation meeting. Again, you're supposed to go to all the chapter meetings anyway. The first one happens to be interpretation. Make sure you get your test in. The regular season opens on the 7th. And then there are some other chapter meetings coming up, playoffs start, and then we have a banquet at the end of the year. So I look forward to seeing many of you on field or at meetings or whatever. And okay, any questions on the curriculum? Because this is it. We're winding it down right now. Nothing.
Hey, Billy, my only question is about the scrimmages. You said they're gonna be some in the afternoon.
There's a couple. I'll pull it
Okay.
up. Hold on a second. I'll pull it up.
I was assigned a game on the 31st.
Well, it's probably a scrimmage. The season doesn't open until later. So if you're wondering to know what your eligibility is, if you go into the NGSIA portal and you go up to reports and you hit my eligibility, actually, I can see everybody, so it's going to be a problem. Let's see. Oh, no, it's only me. Yeah, so here you go. So you can see your eligibility for this year. The concussion course, I don't think it looks like it's been updated yet. Oh, maybe it has. Basketball 23. So anyway, this is how you see it. So you should have green lights across. Once you pass the test, it gets green. Notice soccer for me. The concussion is in for me. If your concussion course is not green, I did tell Joe I had all the certificates. I'll just remind him, but don't worry about that. That's not the big one. Make sure you have the test done. And then once you have these three done, you're registered, test, concussion. This one, Joe will like this one as well. You'll be in good standing. So to go back.
So on mine, the official in good standing is still red.
What are you missing?
I don't think I'm missing anything.
Well, when you pull it up, it has to. Oh, well, he probably just didn't turn it on yet. That's okay. If you have other greens, it'll turn. It'll turn.
I have the test green and the others are green, so the concussion and good standing are not.
Yeah. Don't worry about that. He's probably working on all that stuff. So if I go in here and this is something that you guys can't see. So I'm going to look at the week of the 28th to let's do the first week there. 28th to the 1st, right? I'll go 31st. I'll review the report. You'll see that most of the games here have 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12. Here's a 4 p.m. in Hamilton, right? Where are you? You're only available to work in the afternoon?
I am, and currently till the summer ends, still after the first week of September, it's going to be even tough to get into those afternoon as well during the week.
Okay. Well, that makes it hard, but try your best. You have to talk.
Oh, I am. I have a 4:00 game on the 31st in Egg Harbor City.
Okay. Good.
I'll make that for sure.
Okay, good. So you can see that most of the games, a majority of them are in the mornings, but there's some in the afternoons. So just reach out to Joe and tell him what date you're available, what time you're available, like for the scrimmage week, and tell him you would like to be connected in with one of our veteran officials, and they'll let you run, and they'll coach you.
My availability is updated till pretty much November, December. So,
but I'm saying for scrimmage week, email him directly and tell him you would like to work a scrimmage with a veteran. Because if it's already full, he's not scheduling anybody else. If there's 2 people here, let's say you're available for a 4 o'clock game on the 29th. He's not scheduling any more people here unless you email him and say, I'd like to work with one of the veterans. I've asked him to do that, but I told him you guys would reach out to him and let him know when you're available, because typically they will not schedule. Like you can see, Jim and Mike are working with me on this particular date here. So just reach out to him and try to get connected in with someone. So at least you get to work with someone experienced out of the gate.
I am with some Steve, I believe.
What's the date of your
Yes.
game?
31st.
Okay. Let's see if I see your name here real quick. Hey, now where are you?
Oh, right down there.
Yeah, Steve Gold. Okay. So most likely that could be a real game if it's a Pilgrim Academy. I don't know. It's usually a regular season game, but that's okay. All right. Questions on that?
I have a question. You keep saying Joe. Is that Joe Harrison or Joe Rossi?
Joe Rossi is the secretary. Joe Harrison is the assigner.
Okay, so I just was able to fix my Zebra Web today, so I should be reaching out to Joe Harrison and telling him I'm available. I'm retired, so I'm available pretty much any time for a.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me you want to hop in a scrimmage with someone. If you want to come to that 28th with me, that's fine. We'll put you on the field. We have, Tony and I will work with, the more the merrier for these scrimmages. And you just work a little bit. We talk. It's more like a clinic.
Right.
So the 28th is a date. Try to think of what else. I mean, there's tons of games. He'll slide you in somewhere as
Nice.
see it's under game help. You're in
Yeah,
there not as an assignment, but just there to work, just to have some fun.
Okay.
Then once the regular season starts, you're out there as an assignment. Okay. Let me shut that down. All right, let's get into, this is what I want to talk about, right? So you all have access to this pregame checklist. We're going to walk through this fairly quickly here, and let's just take about an hour. And maybe that's all we need tonight. And I'm going to pull up my diagram here. So we'll talk about positioning and things like that. I'll just move my little pieces around here. Okay. So as mentioned before, this is a pregame checklist you can print out and put in your bag, especially if you're working with someone that you're not very familiar with. Maybe they could be a veteran, you just never worked with them before. So one of the things that I do in a usually in the parking lot, where we don't go to locker rooms anymore, unfortunately. So in the parking lot, we'll have a quick conversation, and usually I'll pull this out. And a lot of times I'll have my little clipboard there that has a little soccer field on it, and just say, let's take 5 minutes and walk through this. And we just remind ourselves of the rule changes for this year. Okay. Rule changes and the points of emphasis for this year. So the rule changes are if you guys remember, we stopped the clock. The player doesn't have to go out this year if we stop the clock, only if we beckon the coach or the trainer on the field. That's a rule change for this year. They recommend midfield reentry, which we've always had. Bench side exit recommended. Okay. We talk about wearables. Anything wearable should be in the shoe or under the uniform. Like if they're wearing those GPS trackers and things like that you see the pro athletes wear, they're allowed to wear those. And accidental deliberate hand or arm contact that leads to a goal will result in no goal. That's the one rule change. So we don't have to decide whether it was deliberate or not. Update on goalkeeper handling, just reminding that they can't be delaying the game. And there's some dog show updates. Now, Rich hasn't gone through these yet, but he will on Sunday. So we'll do that on Sunday. And the points of emphasis this year, POI is points of emphasis. We just kind of talked about those. So we get to the field. One of the first things you'll do, and reminder is that, said this before, 20 or not 25. Usually, day of the game, especially in the fall because it's outside, day of game, you reach out to your partner and you confirm that they are on the assignment. And usually the referee, the person that's in this position, so the person that's in the official 1 position, okay? So in my case, it's Tony Procopio. he should reach out to the school and carbon copy you. But it doesn't mean if this person doesn't do it and it's like by noon of that day for an afternoon game, and obviously earlier, like if it's a Saturday game, we typically do it on a Friday afternoon because we know they're not in school. It's by contract, we have to contact the school. Here's the deal. You show up to a game, even though it's on your schedule, and you didn't get confirmation the game was on, you definitely do not get paid for it. If you get confirmation the game was on and there was some kind of scheduling mistake, usually they'll make good on that type of stuff. So it's required that we confirm with your partner and the school at least the morning of, before noon. Then we typically ask, where do you want to meet? Especially if you're new to this high school thing, like where are we meeting? You know, you go to some of these schools, like they're big. You'll say, okay, I'll meet. There's a spot we typically park by the JV soccer field. My car is a black Ford Edge. Just look for that. I'll be there dressing, right? So you get your meeting spot. If you don't hear back from the AD, you can email them. If you don't hear back, I always pick up the phone. Most of the time, they're really good. They'll email you back, or the secretary, athletic secretary. But if I don't hear, and it's like an hour before the game, before I get in my car, drive anywhere, I'm calling that school to confirm the game is on. Because if I don't do that and I go there for some reason, and it's not far-fetched that there'll be a game in the system that has been changed, somehow didn't get updated in the system, and you go there, you don't get compensated for that. So we arrive at the game and we go to the field, and typically, whether it's any level, you know, you can go, and if you take your bag with you, like if you have a jacket or, you know, water and stuff, right, you can take it. And usually we'll go over and we'll put it at the table or like in the bench area, right? Then typically, and now this is 15 minutes prior to the game. So you can arrive a half hour before the game in an afternoon. It's pretty reasonable. I mean, sometimes you roll up there, it's 25 of, but you don't want to cut it too close, because you're supposed to be on the field 15 minutes prior to the game. Because at 5 minutes prior to the start time of the game, you're holding your pregame conference. When we drop our stuff off, typically then you can do your warm-up. So we're on the field. It's about, say it's a 4 o'clock start. It's 3:45. Just like you do it, you will go down, we'll check the corners, make sure the flags are up. We'll go down, we'll take a look, make sure that the field kind of looks okay. Remember, we're not going to reline it a couple minutes before the game, but we'll note it. But as long as, remember, we said that the goals have to be fastened to the ground. They have to be weighted or secured to the ground, or we don't start the game. Cannot start a game if the goals are not anchored securely. Check the net. And if the net's a little wonky, we can still start the game. You might want to ask them to get some tape or something. So we'll go check the nets. We'll check the other corner flags. And right now, so that might take, 5 or 6 minutes to do that. We typically meet on the other side, do some stretching. And when there's 5 minutes left at every level, excuse me, we'll come to the center and we'll call the teams out. So the teams will come from their warm-ups or the bench areas, wherever they are, and they will come out and they will line up on the center circle, each team on each side. They'll line up. And the coaches will typically come out with them. A lot of times the coaches stand behind, which is fine. And at this point in time, we then go into, of course, while we're observing them warm up, we're looking for legality in uniforms and things like that. Unless something's dangerous, they always can wear it for warm-ups. What is considered dangerous are earbuds. Any electronic devices they can't wear during warm-ups. And remember, we never go to the student athlete and ask them to do something with their uniform or anything. We always address the head coach. Hey, coach, number 12 is wearing a legal uniform, whatever. You're going to go to the coach and the coach will rectify it. And before the game, they can do that. So when we're there, we will identify like who is the on-site administrator. If you haven't met someone, typically that person will come to you and you'll sign something. They're going to sign you in, or some schools give you a check. You always ask that person, hey, who's the site administrator or the site person today? And they'll tell you. And because if not, then the head coach is the on-site person, because it could be a lower level game. And I always like to ask, is there a healthcare professional here? Is there an athletic trainer? And most schools now have all that stuff, right? And don't forget, we obtain written copies. So a lot of times we'll obtain those written copies of the lineups when we're over here at the table. So we drop our stuff off. Usually the scorer, somebody, the coach, when you go introduce yourself to the coach, they'll hand you the roster. You say, hey, coach, you have your roster. And usually one official will take one official will take the other. So that works fine. Then we go into our pregame discussion. Our pregame discussion, let me pull it up for you. Hold on. Sorry, I thought I had it up, but I don't. Pregame card. I'll send it to you guys. There is a, oh, here it is. Pregame card. 22, 23, pregame card. Oh, that's basketball. Sorry. Sorry about that. But there is a, oh, pregame, that's not it. Sorry, I'll send it to you. But there's a card we read that basically says there will be no tolerance for unsportsmanlike conduct that includes taunting and baiting, specifically around race, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, disability. This will subject the violators to automatic ejection. Does everyone understand that? Now, it's a little bit more elaborate. You just read it. I might have missed a couple words there, but you're going to read that card. It's mandatory. Every high school game, we read that card. Not for middle school, not for travel, anything else, but high school, we read that card, required. Everyone must listen. The head coaches and the players must listen. And we do that when we are in this position right here. So they're all here and we read that to them. Additionally, we ask the two sportsmanship questions. The two sportsmanship questions are, where are they? They're not here, but basically they are, you ask the coach, are your, and it's on the card that I'll give you. It says, coach, can you verify that your players are properly equipped for NFHS and NJSIAA rules and will practice good sportsmanship? Those two questions. They're properly equipped and they'll practice good sportsmanship, right? Because that's their first warning. And they must answer with an affirmative yes. Coach, yes. Coach, yes. Once they both say yes, now what you would have done at this point in time, all the players and coaches are here. You would have read the NJSI sportsmanship statement. You would have confirmed with the coach those two questions. Now you can say, okay, players, I'll keep the captains here and we'll do our coin toss and we'll get started in about 1 minute. Now the clock's ticking down. Because you would have started this at about 5 of, and even if there's a clock running on the field and they're going to kick it off at 4 o'clock, at 5 of, you bring them in, do this so that like with about a minute left, you're doing the coin toss. And if you remember, the coin toss is that they have the option of kicking off or choosing the end that they will defend. And then that will reverse in the second half. So we do the coin toss with just the captains, and usually, somebody, and of course you write that down. And in our, we'll have with us something to write on. We'll have I carry little index cards, stick them in my little fold up, which has my yellow and red card and has a couple cheat sheets in it. So I keep all my stuff in a little fold up. So if I ever need them, soccer's an amazing game. You just stop the game take your time and go out and read something. If you're like not sure on dog so, not sure on retaking a penalty kick, you can pull out all those cheat sheets if you want. And we have them all. So once that's done, now we have decided pregame where we are going to start the game. Now, this is a very unique position. Now, I'll pause for a second. Any questions on the pregame stuff up to now? I will give you a copy of that card. Actually, Jim, I think you got a copy of that card, didn't you? In your packet?
Yep.
I thought I saw you hold it up there, the little blue card.
Yeah, the yellow one.
Yellow one, okay. We'll hold it up so everyone can see it. So
Yes.
I have a better one. It's a little easier to read. Like I wear glasses, so it's like tough for me to read that tiny print. But eventually you memorize it. You guys see that? Okay, now, so pregame's out of the way. This is the cool thing about soccer. You can decide a couple things. First, you can decide who's going to start on the table side and who's going to start on the opposite of the table side. And you can decide which end of the field you want to start on. There's no, it's not like for those of you that work USSF, where always the assistant referee's on this end and this one's over here. And of course you have a center. No. You can start at either end and either side. But here's what we typically do. If sun is not an issue, what you don't want is in the second half, as that sun's going down, you don't want to be looking directly into the sun. So if the sun is in this corner, typically you'll want to have your, in the second half, you want to have the official over here because most of the time they're looking this way. And you got to just figure it out. Like, where's the sun? Because the sun in the fall is nasty at 5 o'clock. It really gets you. That's why we wear most of us wear hats. But if the sun's not an issue, it doesn't really matter. Or if you don't care, it doesn't really matter. And you can wear sunglasses too, just as long as they don't fly off. But what we do say is that the official on this side in the first half, should typically be the less experienced official. Because in the second half, we're switching. So in the first half, you'll start here. In the second half, you will start on this side. This official will go to this side. So you don't switch ends because the teams switch ends. You'll get a different look, but you switch touch lines between the first and second half. So you switch across. So now the more experienced official in the second half is near the benches running up and down. So if the coaches are bending their ear, they tend to can usually just handle that a little bit better. Not that you have to. It doesn't really matter, honestly. But the person on the bench or table side, the reporting zone area, you are responsible primary for the clock, secondary for the clock over here. You both have timepieces, even if there's a timer or a scoreboard that has the official time, then this will be the official co-timer, meaning like if the timer is off, it goes by this watch here. And if for some reason your timing device goes off, you need to notify at the earliest opportunity. Usually we blow the whistle or just point up at our wrist and say, my clock is shot. And you either can sync it up then, or at your next stoppage, you sync it up. If there's no timing device on the field, like a scoreboard. So that's how we determine where we start. Does it really matter which way the teams are going on the start? No. Other than we do go by the book and say the restart whistle to start each half is always the trail. The kickoff after a goal is always the trail. So therefore, going back here, depending on where you are, if the team is going from left to right on the kickoff, this person will be our start of the game whistle. If the run of play is going to go right to left to start the game, and you've decided you want to start in these positions, the trail is on this side because the run of play is going right to left. So for our restart whistle, start each half and kick off after each goal, you will be the trail. Now, the cool thing to remember is because we don't switch ends and the team switch ends and the opposite team gets the other half kickoff, if you started the game with your whistle as a trail, you'll be in the trail again when you switch sides because the team switch and you'll stay in the trail because now there's a different team going right to left. Oh, I'm sorry, left to right. Left to right, because in the first half, right, the team was going, the white team was going left to right. Now in the second half, they switch ends, you switch sides, and now the blue team is going left to right, but you're still in the trail. So if you started the game, if your whistle started the game, your whistle is going to start the second half. Questions? All right. So let's talk about some other stuff here. Now, this talks about starting as a lead, but that is recommended, right? They typically, if you want to set it up perfectly and the sun's not an issue, it's always good as the lead referee to be opposite, as we said, opposite the scores table. So the second half, they're on the scores table and start in the lead position. Okay. And then the trail lead signals to the trail ready to play. So if we're out here and if the lead should look and is make sure everyone's ready, we'll signal to the trail ready to play. Trail has our start, which is our restart or start to the game. And so you can be either table side or touch line. It really doesn't matter. But again, the trail is going to start and declare ready to play. And of course is if you're table side, then you're going to be the primary clock. If you're opposite, you're a secondary clock. And we talked about switching things. Here's some things I like to talk about with my crew members is movement. We always want to box in the play, stay alert for off-ball action, and help on fouls after passes. Because this is the problem for those of you that work 3-person, AR, 2 ARs, and a center official. What happens in high school soccer and when you have 2 people, the run of play is going one direction and you are trying to stay. Remember, the lead official is to stay even with the next to last offender or even with the ball or the next to last offender, which is typically whichever is further. So in that case, sometimes there'll be a play that happens behind you. And if the trail official is super lazy and you're up here and this trail official is hanging out back here and something happens here because you're trying to look down the line where the defending team is trying to hold the attacking team off and you're looking for that pass and there's a foul back here, it's a long way to go. We always say box in that play. If the play is in the forward attacking end, then the trail official should be in the attacking end and then be ready to transition back. It's almost better to be caught sometimes on a quick counter than it is to be lazy and staying back here. So if the next to last offender, especially in some lower level games, they just stand back here. You're not going to stand back here when all the play is forward. You're going to get up there, and even though there's players behind you, you're not going to worry about those players. You just have to look and do your best. That's the sad part about having only 2 officials. We can't call everything, but we want to get the plays right in the attacking area. So the lead official, as we said, mirrors the next to last defender, has a wide vision of view, obviously is responsible for the ball crossing the goal line, and also is responsible for this line down here, which is really hard to see. They call this the coffin corner, especially on a quick transition as the trail's coming up and maybe the ball goes over top and something happens down in this corner. It's really hard for the trail to see that far down. So we like, and obviously the lead does have the goal line all the way from corner to corner. So if the ball goes out, you just need to help each other. You need to have eye contact. Who saw it better? Sometimes the trail might be down here. The lead might be here. Sometimes if the play's on this side, the lead can cheat in a little bit, vice versa. So this line is a trouble line in our system that you just need to have good eye contact with. And before you roll a goal kick or a corner kick, just a little eye contact, because your partner out here can help you a lot with this trouble area they call coffin corner down here. It's kind of like a dead zone. All right, pausing on that for a minute. We talked about it. Lead stays ahead of the ball and covers the touch line and the near goal line and looking for offside. The lead should know the position of the most attacking player and second to last defender, STLD, second to last defender. The trail has attention to play around the ball and help in that coffin corner and the penalty area. The trail should be also looking down in here on a diagonal, helping all this stuff in the penalty area, because it's hard. The lead has a lot of responsibilities, looking at offside, looking at the play, looking at the keeper, looking for interference, a lot of stuff. So when we come down to communication, if we have a foul, if needed, usually the lead, I'll say usually because sometimes it doesn't work always that way. But if we have a ceremonial restart, meaning we're waiting for the defending team to get set up and we're stopping the play, if we have that ceremonial restart, remember that the lead is going to take free kicks, penalty kicks, corner kicks. So the lead has that restart. So if for some reason, and it happens a lot, there could be a foul right here. You would think, well, the trail is right there. Why wouldn't the trail take the restart? Why wouldn't the trail take the restart on that? A ceremonial restart. Why do you think?
Scoring keeper's in the right position, ready.
Mm-hmm. Make sure everybody's ready. Make sure you're ready, because you're the most important thing that's happening on a restart from out here. These guys are lining up. Usually they're pushing the line forward to get them out of the penalty area. So you need to be in a good spot, ready. So that's why we allow this person to do the ceremonial restart. Now, I'm going to tell you, some veterans don't know that, but that's what the book wants you to do. And sometimes these guys will do it out here. A lot of times if they have to walk off 10 yards for the wall, they feel as though they need to do the whistle, but that's not the case by the book. If I walk my 10 yards off as a trail, I'm going to point to you as the lead when I'm ready, and you got it. I'll say, go ahead. Just give you a point. Now, when you're ready, you blow the whistle. I'll say on his whistle, boom, right? Off we go.
I have a question. What if the foul is 40 yards out on the left side of the field?
Over here?
Yeah.
Tell me, what type
Well,
of
the question is, who controls that restart if there's a necessary wall and restart?
You tell me.
Well, there's, I guess, if the lead official goes back to handle that, he's not in the lead position anymore. So I doubt the trail official goes all the way across the field to handle that, or
So let's say
he's out of position.
yeah. So let's say the ball is here, right, where this diamond
Yeah.
is.
Okay.
Right?
Fine.
Yeah. So if there's no ceremonial restart, meaning you're not going to walk the yardage off, and they're just gonna walk. You don't have to even
Right.
blow a whistle, right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
What
So
if they stand on the, okay, so what if they, the opposing team stands next to the ball,
uh-huh.
and so they want, there's a,
Yep.
which official handles that?
Trail.
So the trail comes all the way across the field. Oh, okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Just like you would if you were a center in three, you're gonna have to come across anyway, right? To get that. So you walk that off, and then you can step back a little bit. You don't
Yeah,
have to
all
go
right.
all the way back. Yeah.
But the lead official stays up. And
Lead stays up. Yeah.
okay.
Now I will say if it's here, and I know that when I step my 10 yards off, I can just step back into position. This is a good one for the lead. When you're like up around right on the edge of the penalty area, or it's who's ever closest to it. I wouldn't go back this far. I mean, this field's a little smush because it's a graphic, but in a real field, you got more yardage here. But if it's close to the penalty area, then I typically, as the lead, will take that. But it doesn't really matter, honestly, right? It's a restart. So
And
okay.
Billy, you said the lead has the whistle there on a
Always.
ceremonial.
Mm-hmm.
So he marks 10 out and then gets back in position, then gives the whistle for the start.
Yep. On my whistle, everyone. Wait for my whistle.
Gotcha.
I hold it. I got it in my hand. Wait for my whistle. And if they kick the ball for my whistle, I'll blow it back. I wasn't ready. Right? Because it's a ceremonial restart. As compared to if they're going to quick kick it, you got to get ready and go quick. If they put it down and elect to quick kick, even if someone's near them, that's their election to do that. But if they're not electing to quick kick and you blow the whistle and you're going to go mark it off, then they have to wait. Then they definitely have to wait. Okay.
Yep.
So, trail, hand slipping with ball placed, wall is okay, ready for play, right? So this is the one where we said like a little communication, right? So in that play, right, this is that exact, this right here is exactly what we just talked about. Communicate. The trail, if it's going to come over and get the wall ready or whatever, if they're here, wherever they are, and I'll just point to my partner and say, we're ready. And obviously they're watching, they know we're ready, but give them the ready. So you say, okay, ready to go. And then your lead can take that. Now, don't be surprised if you're in a game with a veteran that doesn't know that's how it's handled properly, and they handle this. Don't get offended, right? If they do that, just learn that some people don't know exactly how that's done. It tends to be people that have a little bit more experience and are used to working by themselves in the center, where they just forget to. So I would say they just don't know. Goal kicks. Trail declares ready for play in position near the top of the penalty between the touchline side of the penalty area. Watch for kick violations. Lead position near the halfway line based on the kicker. Look for fouls. So on a goal kick, right? So I'll move that down. We're going to have a goal kick anywhere in here. Okay. So I'm going to position myself in a position here. And especially if we have substitutions, anytime we have a substitution, we have a whistled restart. Anytime we have a substitution, we have a whistled restart. So, ball obviously went over the goal line. Teams want to substitute. You tell the keeper or whoever's kicking on my whistle as the trail, and the lead is coming down, positioning where they think where that ball they think typically is going to land, or where there's going to be a lot of play. And it's usually right around the next to last defender. So I go back to my thing, right? The trail has the start of each half and the kickoff after a goal, but also has goal kicks, right? Drop balls and goal kicks. So that's easy. We'll go back here and, go back here. Corner kicks. Lead declare. The lead, as we saw in our chart, the lead has corner kicks, free kicks, corner kicks, and penalty kicks. They're the three kicks they have: corner, penalty, free, right? And so on a corner kick, you can declare ready to play if needed. A lot of times in a corner kick, you do not have to whistle. There's nothing ceremonial about a corner kick because it takes a little bit long to get set up, but you're going to position yourself on the goal line. Now, we used to, on a corner kick, we used to position ourselves inside. We don't do that anymore. So what we do is if you're on this side, you stand on the goal line and you can come up inside to see all this, right? You can come stand on the goal line right here. And the trail official, if we go back here, right? The trail positions near the top of the penalty area corner on the trail side and is observing all the action in the goal area. So the trail, now this is really unique. And it's a pain in the butt a lot of times when they get like 2 or 3 corner kicks going. You come all the way down to here. This is our position for a corner kick from the trail side. Now, here, I'm going to tell you right now, I mean, I'm fairly fast for an old dude, but when that ball comes out here and there's a quick counter, oh man, we're on our horses going this way, especially if there's players that are on the other side of the halfway line, like they could be in an offside position. You just got to do your best here. They want you up here. I will cheat a little bit back, not much, a yard or 2 if there's players back here, but a lot of time they bring the players up in to get a good attack. So you kind of position yourself right on this corner. And the trail is looking all inside here, especially at the keeper. And the lead is looking at the flight of the ball to make sure that it doesn't go over the line and come back in. So we know that the ball, once it completely goes outside of the touch line or the goal line, it's out of play. Now, what happens if the corner kick? So that's if it went out on this side. If the defense touches it, the defending team touch it, went on this side, the corner kick from this side. It was so odd. We used to stand in here. We don't do that anymore. They want us very much like USSF. We will stand outside looking this way now. There's just no really good place because you're so far away from the play. Like you're only looking at the line. When you have this position, this official needs to be very actively engaged in what's happening, especially in a varsity game. And I always think I always say to myself, blue's going to cause a PK. White's going to cause a PK. So if I have a foul, I'm thinking if it better be a good one to be a PK. It better be a real foul. No kids diving or simulation. If White's got a foul, it's going to be a PK, right? So I'm thinking that in my head, so I don't just quick blow a whistle, thinking I'm going the other way, and it's like, oh no, it's a penalty kick, right? And it wasn't that hard of a foul. Typically on a foul by the attacking team, pushing a defender out of the way, we're quick to call that, which is fine. We're quick to call that push to get that advantage, and because we're going to go the other way. And you don't want the attacking team to have too much of an advantage. But that's our position for corner kicks. And I'm telling you, it's a long run back on a quick turn, but we do it. A lot of times we'll start running, then they'll kick the ball back. We got to run all the way back up here again. So it's fun. Welcome to the diagonal system of control. Okay. We're almost through this. Throw-ins on your own touch line. You're the person. Remember the 2-yard buffer? And in the attacking zone, we should always anticipate play development, meaning we know that if there's a throw-in, we want to be ahead of the throw-in. Don't want to be on this side of the throw-in. Now, occasionally, the ball will go out quick and a kid will pick it up and just toss it back in. You can't do anything about that. You just can't get there fast enough. But the game is to try to stay ahead if you can, because you want to box the play in, and you stay on the touch line until it's thrown in. If the ball comes in, then you can start to weave your way in. Stay even with the next to last defender or the ball, whatever's nearest to the goal line. The throw-ins from this side, same thing. And that's why we say box the play in if we have the two officials boxing the throw in, even if it's a long throw in over top, we can still recover and catch up, and everyone can start working their way down as the attacking team goes down. Okay. Just try to box it in. And you are responsible for your throw in line, for your touch line. Now, penalty kicks, lead handles the ball, and the kicker and goalkeeper instructions, and the whistle releases the ball, and the trail positions are same as a corner kick. So what we typically do is, so the lead will come in and handle this, and you'll come down in here. Just like that. It's kind of odd, but that's kind of what we do. Okay. Substitutions, officials on the side where entering beckons the players. The person whose line or responsibility it is has the whistle. The restart official sounds the whistle when ready, and we hold our hands up to communicate until we're ready. So here's how it works. Let's say we had a ball goes out on the end line. It's going to be a goal kick, right? We have substitutes waiting to come in. Of course, either team can substitute on a goal kick. So now the player or the official closest to the bench area will handle the substitutions. Put their hand up, and once they come in, and they'll tell the keeper or whoever, the back, to say on my whistle, once the player's in and other players are off. And by the way, the players do not have to wait for the player to exit the field before they come on. You can bring them on, and the other ones can be coming off. So one can be coming on, one can coming off, but you do want to kind of wait till they're like at the touch line before you blow your restart. And you'll see, you can tell if they're running and they're a couple steps away, you can tell the keeper, okay, ready, blow the whistle. Just don't want them to turn around and come back on. Other example would be, let's say there's a throw in on this side and it's white, and white has a substitute here. The closest official to the table will blow the whistle for the substitutes. You don't stop the clock unless it's underneath 5 minutes and white was in the lead, but hand says beckon the sub. Beckoning the sub means you wave them on. And now what happens is the nearest official will hold their hand up and not drop their hand until all substitutes are off. Once the last substitute, you just drop your hand, or you can give a little point. Usually just hold my hand up, just drop it, maybe a little point, and that will tell this official on this side, it's okay to go. Ready to go. So you wait for your partner, who's ever handling the substitutions, to drop their hand. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky, because we know on throw-ins, especially on the far side, the ball goes out of play. That's why it's, if you as this official down here see that there are substitutes and you know they're waiting, you can blow your whistle to stop them from a quick throw in, because sometimes, even let's say white has a throw in and white is trying to sub, they'll just pick up the ball and throw it in. And the coach wants those players in. So you can stop it if your trail official is not that quick to the whistle, because you're aware of that. It's also important, if this official is not aware of substitutes, to be quick with a point. And we didn't talk about signals. We will in a little bit here. But the signal for pointing when we have a throw in is just pointing on an angle with your arm, okay? As compared to pointing level to the ground for a free kick. Level to the ground for a free kick on an angle, for kind of like you would with a flag for our ARs out there. And you point, and if my partner sees I'm pointing in the direction of white and I have white substitutes, I will blow the whistle quickly, because maybe this person's not looking over here. So it's really important to just have good eye contact. And if blue's here and, you point blue going the other way, well, we're not going to let those subs in until it's a proper time. Questions on subs? No? Okay. So halftime. So when clock runs down to 0, don't forget, there is no FIFA USSF thing where you have to put extra time on it. The time is the time. If the ball has not crossed the goal line before the expiration of play completely, it is no goal. Everything must happen while there is still time on the clock. Once we hit 0, sometimes they have a horn, sometimes they don't, sometimes they count it down. You got to watch. If you have your own watch, remember the person who's going to blow the stoppage whistle is the near the table, is the primary clock keeper when the school doesn't have a clock. So you blow the whistle, and if you're like Rich Papperham will teach you 2 whistles at halftime, 3 whistles at the end of the game. Doot, doot, point to the center circle because that's where our restart's going to be. And they put the ball there. You come here, wait till all the players go over, get your drink of water, put your 10 minutes on the clock immediately. As soon as the players leave the field, you run 10 minutes. And then we will be ready to go in the second half. And remember, in second half, we switch positions. If we started here, second half, we'd switch positions, but the trail will always have, if they're going this direction, the trail will have that restart, just as the trail had in the first half, but it was a different person because you had switched positions. Okay. Righty. Actually, it's the same person, isn't it? Okay. End of game. This is important. We don't do handshakes. We don't have to watch handshakes. We don't have to do anything after the game other than leave the field. If you leave your stuff on this side of the field, at the end of the game, I would suggest you try to beat the teams over there before they start their handshake line. Grab your stuff and get out of there, because you can get out of there before these people start doing all their stuff. If you get caught over there, don't feel obligated to fist bump or shake hands. Yes, you can if you want to. And sometimes the players will come up to you and thank you and whatever, but don't feel obligated to do anything after the game other than get out of there. Now, one thing you must do, though, is you have to verify the final score, cautions, and send-offs, especially if they're send-offs. If you had a situation where we had to send somebody off for a flagrant foul, meaning a straight red card, and not for like a dog so or something like that, like a punch, a kick, a fight, spitting, a serious foul play that injured someone or potentially injured someone, and you're going to have to build or fill out the report on the state website, and we'll give you information on that later. If you ever have a situation where that happens, what you do is write down the player's number, the name on your piece of paper, write down everything that happened, time, blah, blah, blah. Get that paper and you come home and immediately you email or call me. And I will help you with that, guide you, because I'm on the executive board. I can help you with it. You want to talk to someone on the executive board, because before you go to the NJSI website to fill out the online form, we want to help you with that report. One thing you must do before you leave that field, though, you must do this. You must notify the head coach or the athletic director, usually it's the athletic director, before you leave the field that that player was disqualified for flagrant conduct. Not because they had 2 yellow cards, but they punched somebody. They slid into someone, dangerous, serious foul play, and injured someone, and it was flagrant, that straight red card, out of the game. And it would be just like in any other sport if you were kicked out of the game for the one thing, if it has to stand on its own. So I always do suggest that you write anything down exactly how it happened, And then you can get out of there. And always, a nice little talk are the 3 questions. Hey, what do you think went well? What did I do well? Where did we get stuck as a crew? And what should we do different next time? It's actually differently. You get it, right? So differently next time. And that's it. That is our mechanics for 2-person. I will say some of you might work a 1-person crew game, which is kind of fun. I feel like it's given back to the kids. 7th, 8th grade, you get 1 person. If you have that, don't panic. You'll get a full fee for it or plus, And if you work the little kids games, I always say, whether you work it as 1 or 2, go over and ask the coaches, hey, coach, how long are the halves? Are there any special rules? Some leagues have no heading. Some have whatever. They'll substitute whenever they want. Doesn't matter whose ever ball it is, like free substitutions. So just ask them ahead of time. But if you're working a game by yourself, you kind of just run the middle back and forth. You can run diagonal, whatever you want to do. And I always say, if it looks like they're offside, the kid got a big advantage, just blow it offside. They have to stay on side. A lot of times they don't know how, the little kids. So it's by yourself. There's no way you can run down and look at offside here, look at offside there. I think you guys get it. You just kind of run the middle, work the middle, and a lot of times they keep the clock running, which is good. Okay. All right. That's the pregame and that's positioning. Now there's a lot more you can learn from all the NFHS videos on nfhslearn.com. But I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do we do with the paperwork? Do we just hold on to that, or we need to send that in anywhere, or
Trash can.
just okay?
Yep. You have to do nothing. The only time you have to worry about any type of report is if you have a flagrant disqualification. Only time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So for a red card for second yellow, we don't do reports.
No report. Only if it was flagrant. If the second one was flagrant, well, then it wouldn't be a yellow. It would be a straight red.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yep. It has to stand on its own because remember, the player's going to get a 2-game suspension and not good. And you can't take it back. That's why we don't want you going to filling out any reports until you talk to someone on the executive board. And it's usually myself, Joe Rossi, Steve Shinkarik, Rich Papperman, somebody, and we'll help you fill that report out. But don't hesitate. If there's a fight, you have disqualifications. If kids come off the bench during a fight, even though they don't participate, they're disqualified. And you got to take care of all that stuff. That's the business. That's why we're there, to take care of that business, right?
If there is a fight, what are our obligations?
Well, our obligation is to prevent the fight. So you don't go in, and if an active fight is engaged, you don't try, unless you can get physically between 2 people without getting injured. You're not instructed to go in and try to separate kids fighting. But if you can get between them to prevent, absolutely. Most important is to write down numbers. And we can always go back to video after. If they have video, the state will go back to, if you don't get all the fighters, like they'll go back and look at it later and evaluate that piece. You do your best on that. Okay. You guys want to look at those few questions real quick? Those videos questions?
Yep, I do.
Let's look at them. I haven't seen them yet, so I want your opinion. Let me pull them up here.
So I missed. I believe I missed total of 4, and 2 of them were the videos. One of them was very kind of like confusing because the couple of the things that were listed in there as possible choices for answers, they could have been either or.
All right,
Yeah,
well,
I agree.
let's take a look. I gotta find it. Oh, here we go. So let me pull it up here. All right, here's 51. Am I sharing still? No. Hold on. Am I?
No.
No, hold on. Here we go. All right, 51. Take a look and you guys tell me what you think. Here we go. That's an interesting one. I want to watch that again.
Just a
Oh,
careless.
all right, so let's look. Here's the question. The question is blue for carelessly tripped, red 19, word a direct free kick.
Yeah, A.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I put A.
Yep.
So you guys all have?
yeah.
I think so. I think that was just
I got that one right.
careless, right? Let me highlight that. Okay, good. Let's try this one. Watch it again. Right. It's interesting. It's men's league. They don't have any kids games here. But all right. So this one is no foul, shoulder to shoulder. White team player is careless charge. Black team becomes a carrot. Well, what color was? I forget what color it was, but
White, I think.
Right, yeah.
the white committed the charge. Oh yeah, white. Yeah. Okay. So is that what you guys have? B then?
Yeah, B.
Yes, B.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say it's B. Yep. Wasn't reckless. I mean, it was just kind of easy, right? Let's take a look at this one.
Yeah, this one I made. This one I messed up.
Wrong too.
Oh, watch it again. Can I slow this down? Hold on a second here. Playback speed. Let's see if I can slow this down. 0.75. Well, tell me what you guys think. I have an opinion, but I'd like to hear what you guys think. Here you go. Let's see
So,
what the choices are. Black
what I-
goalkeeper attempts to play the ball, no foul.
Yeah.
Black goal carelessly charged into white outside the penalty area. Was it outside? I didn't even notice where it was. Let me
That
see.
was outside.
Yeah, it's outside.
It's outside. Okay.
that's what I thought too. It's outside.
Yeah. So that's a key factor here. So recklessly outside the penalty area. Yeah. Black and charged excessive for. What do you guys think?
I answered D and I got it wrong.
Yeah,
Same
I
here.
answered B also, and I got it wrong.
Yeah.
I think I did too.
So
It looked bad at first, but the more you watch it, it doesn't look as bad.
No, he raised his
It looked
knee
pretty
up into
bad.
the guy's
I
face.
mean, with the knee up there, it is bad.
He did it
Whatever it
first
is,
time, I
it's
thought it
bad.
He doesn't touch ball.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely a red.
one more time.
He used his head.
Yeah, with the knee forward.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you, I would argue that is that's could be excessive force. I don't know. What do you guys think?
The
Yeah,
only
I had it
difference
as
is
red.
that the ball, he went to go play it with his knee, the ball. I don't think the knee was intended or designed to go against the player. If you look at where
Yeah.
the ball was, that's the only thing that will hold me back. But I picked D myself when I first saw it.
I picked D also.
Did you get it right,
I
D?
did pick
No, I
D
got it
too.
wrong.
Yep.
D
Nah, I
is
think
We
wrong.
all got it wrong.
Yeah, but I think if you look at the ball, that may be why it's C.
I don't. If I saw that real time, there's no VAR to help you.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with that. It should
So
be.
you're thinking it, you guys think it's C. I kind of I'm between the
I thought it was
two.
D.
Yeah, I had D.
Yeah, I
First
answered
I
time.
D
had
and got it
D
wrong.
and it was wrong.
The D was wrong.
Right.
But
But
they don't tell you the right answer.
they don't tell you the right answer.
Well, it wouldn't be careless. It would be reckless with a caution
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
because he had an
Right.
attempt to the ball.
So you're saying you're
They all
thinking
said D.
You guys think B?
D.
No. D's
No.
and dog.
Yeah,
No,
but
we all put D as a dog, but we got it wrong.
yeah, no,
Right.
I can see why, because they're probably thinking that he was playing the ball. So it's either B or C, right?
I mean, I would argue no matter if he was playing the ball or not, that knee in the kid's face, it's whatever.
Yeah. Plus, he
Yeah.
came from at least 5 yards away. So-
Yeah, and he was running very quick.
Well, remember the difference between careless and reckless has to do with a lot of things, but in this case could be, was it intentional? What intent is a big thing when it comes to determining whether something you're upgrading it to reckless. So I bet you the answer is C. I bet you it is. Is that what you guys are thinking now?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
D.
that's why we're
Yes.
thinking. Ain't no way, no cards for that start.
Yeah.
Correct.
I agree
Someone's
with
kidding.
you. Yeah. And you think about that, that's your tool to control the game. Like you can't let something that hard go. Could you say, well, he was really playing the ball and maybe it wasn't excessive force, because the excessive force was probably caused because the other player was coming in at a high rate of speed too. So it was kind of an equal forces. Let's see this one here. Oh, watch it again. Let me see that again.
I think I got this one wrong too.
Me too.
Okay, so we're on an attack here. Outside the penalty area. Well, question is, here's the question on this for everyone. I didn't even look at the answers yet, but is the player within a normal playing distance of the ball here? Because is this a legal charge, shoulder to shoulder?
No.
Don't
There,
think.
there's no shoulder to shoulder on this.
He leads with his feet.
It looks like the goalie's just making a beeline right for the player.
Yep.
He's just
the
running
ball-
into the player. There's no shoulder to shoulder
Right.
that attempting for the ball or anything.
The ball's about 2 or 3 yards away when it makes contact.
Yeah, I agree there. I agree. So let's see.
He's not even attempting to play the ball.
Identify misconduct, if any. So are you guys saying recklessly jumping or deliberate tactical foul? It could be either one of these. What's the difference, right?
Well, I picked one of those. I do not remember which one, and I believe I picked up the tactical foul, and I was wrong.
Yeah, I think I picked C and I got it wrong.
Same here.
Same here.
Yeah, me too.
Well, that's a
Is it not D? I mean, isn't it denial of goal scoring or no?
I don't.
Well, I did not pick up the dog cell because you cannot see if there was other players, covering the goal area or not.
Yeah, and he
Well,
went outside. He didn't go middle.
Right. He
Yeah,
was
the
going.
ball is kind of way out.
Yeah, that defender's even with him too. He's not like
Yeah.
ahead of him.
and
And the defender's inside too.
and the distance from goal is an important factor here too,
Yeah. Yep.
right? Yeah, that defender's right there. So I would agree with you. It's probably not D for these reasons. Distance from goal, and you have this defender here. So I'm
So I would
thinking
assume
it's
just
probably
a
not that.
reckless for the charge
So recklessly
and
jumping.
tactical.
Must be, huh? I'm glad you guys took the bullet for us, huh? We always get these, we talk about them, and no one everybody argues about the answers to these. So the good news is no one ever fails. So that's a good thing. All right, let's watch the last one and we'll call it a night here. Oh, see that one coming, couldn't you? Yeah. All right. So I got I got at least a yellow here for sure. Which one? Carelessly tripping.
No, tactical foul.
Yeah, I would say that too. That is a tactical foul. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep. That's it. Now you know. Well, you'll see the people be arguing about this on Sunday, no doubt. I don't know if Rich is going to close. I don't know when the test closes, so he might not even talk about them yet. But good job. Good job. How about any final questions? I hope this was a good format for you guys. Did you enjoy, like, enough room, but enough instruction? We're always looking to improve this. If there's something that you didn't get, you want to talk about more, like, feel free to just give me a shout. Happy to hop on a call or whatever, chat about anything. Not that I'm like the biggest rules expert is Rich, but I've been around enough to kind of know the way around. Do you guys all have your uniforms yet? Stuff like that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. And I think you're ready to go. As long as you've submitted your test, you're registered, got your, whatever you call it, the concussion certificate. I'll make sure Joe has them all. I'll give him the list again because I have them all. And then don't forget the interpretations meeting on Sunday or the following week. You just have to attend one of them. And you do have to do it live. They don't record them for some crazy reason. And then we have some meetings that we get together. I hope to get to meet all you guys in person. If you want to come out to one of my scrimmages, unfortunately, I'm away that week. I'm not going to be doing more than one. In fact, I'm going right from the scrimmage to the airport. Probably smell like hell going there, but that's it. I
So
think
I got one question on Zebra. Do we have to how do they pay? The high school pays? Is it through the Zebra pay?
it varies. Some do. Some pay through Zebra Pay. Some schools still pay through Arbiter, which they'll add you. Do you ever hear of the Arbiter?
Yeah, I have that account.
Yep. So they do the Arbiter
I
pay.
don't, yeah, okay.
Like some schools are holdover from that. And a lot of schools just send checks. So they fill out a voucher and they'll send you a check.
So in Zebra, it's a good idea to put your bank information in the Zebra pay.
You should. And the
Yes.
schools, they'll tell you what schools do that. I want to say Mainland is one. There's a handful, and you need to create a Zebra Pay account for that.
Okay.
Yep.
So I have a couple questions after the call, just if you'd stay on.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Any other questions before I hit stop the record button?
Thanks, Bill. This is a great format.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let me hit
And
the stop
Bill,
record.
just one note. Are you able to send me whatever games are 4 o'clock? So if I get a chance to go and just want to observe and watch, that's all.
Well, shoot me an email with the dates and I'll send you a copy of it. Yep.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Let me stop the